My name is Julie Curtin. I'm the Director of Learning and Development for BorgWarner, an automotive manufacturer and supplier. I'm here to talk to you today about our program called LevelUp. LevelUp can be known as a gaming term and also a life term. It's about improving and about making a powerful shift. That's what we wanted for our LevelUp participants. So it only made sense to talk to you about our story in terms of game design. We start with the challenge. Inherent to any game is a challenge. There's a goal and objective. For us, it was a business challenge. In every game, players have a choice, and those choices make the challenge more interesting and affect the outcome of the game. For us, we had choices on who to partner with outside of our company to make LevelUp most effective. In a game, we have characters, the avatars, and the enemies who interact with each other. With us, it was stakeholders and our target audience. The content in a game is the way the game flows, how the world is designed. For us, it was the learning assets and the communication pieces that were so important to the implementation of LevelUp. And finally, the conclusion. Games have boundaries that know when the game is over, win or lose. For us, we have metrics, win or lose. So let's start by talking about the challenge. When I came into my role about 2 years ago, I had to dig into the numbers and understand what the solutions were that we were really offering. What I found was there was an imbalance between supply and demand. We had over 800 managers in our company who had never received formal training from a leadership development perspective around BorgWarner's leadership imperatives. In addition to that, we had almost 275 new managers coming on board, whether they were promoted internally or they were brought in from the outside. At the same time, we could only put 235 people through the programs that we were currently offering. These programs were all classroom-based, face-to-face programs. Clearly an imbalance. And because of that, employees were not receiving consistent training around our leadership expectations. And we knew from our learning management system that they were looking for it. The other question that we didn't really know the answer to is, what was the value of these programs that we were already offering? We couldn't meet the demand. We didn't know the value. So I dug into the data again and found that there actually was a correlation to performance and building up our talent pipelines in these existing programs that we had. For both our leadership program and our high potential program, we correlated people going through these programs to increased performance following the program. And the people going through these programs were contributing to the robustness of our leadership pipeline. So if we could get more people to engage in these programs, we could see even higher performance, higher productivity, and better, robust talent pipelines. So now let's talk about our choice. One of the first things that I did in implementing this program was gather a guiding team from our business units. It was important that we weren't working in a bubble or in a silo. We had to have representation from the people who would be really managing this program internally. When we got that team together, the first thing we did was come up with some criteria for what we were looking for. In an external partner, we needed to have a solution that was blended, not just one type of learning, but multiple modalities that our learners could consume. It had to be accessible via mobile devices. We are a high travel culture, and people need to be able to access learning anywhere. We're in 19 different countries, so it was a requirement that we had this content translated, and it had to be aligned to our leadership competencies and our culture. It was also a requirement that this program cost less than our existing classroom training. And at a minimum, it must be integrated from a single sign-on perspective so that we didn't have people having to remember other login credentials and passwords. We looked at many solutions. Some of them were only translated into 3 languages. Some of them were only one source of content. Maybe they were only videos. There were just a lot of showstoppers in most of the partners that we researched, until we found the Skillsoft Leadership Development Program and Percipio. It really checked all of the boxes, plus we had the advantage of a learner experience platform in Percipio. Let's move on to talk about the characters who were involved, which for us were our different stakeholders and our target audience. It was important to us that we had leadership buy-in, so we really leveraged our HR leaders to represent us to their leaders, the presidents of the business units. We also engaged a guiding team, as I mentioned, and partnered with Skillsoft to employ their services in aligning the content, managing the project plan. They were really an integral part of our team. We also chose an extended guiding team that we went to for feedback on even the name of the program, the structure of the program. How long would they spend in this learning mode every week? We wanted to make sure that we were giving our learners what they needed, not what we thought that they needed. So we involved them, asked them directly, and asked them to be involved in our first round cohort. We also engaged managers of participants to make sure that they were coaching their employees through this program. When it came to content, we followed this simple model of learn, reflect, apply, collaborate. Learn included a virtual classroom kickoff, which was very interactive, not a webinar type. We engaged our groups through chat, through polling, and through voice answer of questions. This also included different assets of learning. Videos were part of it, online books, audio books, and different discussion guides and practice tools. On the reflect piece, we pushed questions to people once or twice a week to really keep learning top of mind and do reinforcement of the content. In apply, we asked them to do regular activities that applied that learning to their work. And with collaborate, people met with small groups that we assigned to them every month for each leadership imperative. And they also met with their manager every month to discuss each leadership imperative. So we created a structure, and this structure was in a form of this template. Every month after the virtual kickoff, we would send out a recurring meeting notice that had everything that the learner needed attached to it. They could link right to the assets from these meeting notices. We also created guides to lead them through their small groups, to really facilitate that discussion in a way that would be most meaningful for them. With all of this, there was quite a bit of technology. I mentioned Percipio as a learner experience platform. We use Yammer for the reinforcement and social learning. WebEx is our virtual classroom platform. Outlook was used to manage that white space and really make sure that people were dedicating the time needed each week to completing the program. And our LMS served as our learner record store to house all of that data. So let's talk about the conclusion, where we ended up. Our leading indicator with our first program was that we achieved 100% completion of all of our components. A great story to tell to our business is that with this LevelUp program, we avoided $320,000 in cost for 2019. And we were able to put almost double the number of participants through the LevelUp program than we were putting through our classroom-based programs. This was a huge sell to our business and made them come back and want more. We also did some surveys, and before people went into LevelUp, we asked them how comfortable they were with all of these different learning environments. This was really new for BorgWarner, going from classroom to a completely virtual and more self-paced kind of program. So we asked them how comfortable they were with virtual classrooms, with self-paced videos, with online books, and some of the things you might expect. They were more comfortable in a virtual classroom. In fact, their comfort increased by 211%. They were more comfortable with self-paced videos because the quality of the videos and the length of the videos were a micro-learning component. What was a little surprising, though, is there were a couple areas that decreased in comfort, one of which was reading online. We dug into that a little bit and found out that many of our learners who were English as a second language, these online books were taking longer for them to read than expected. As well, these online books at the time weren't behaving like your Kindle would behave, for example. There weren't necessarily bookmarks or ways to highlight. That since has changed, and we've gotten great feedback on those improvements. The other question that we asked at the beginning were, which areas do you most want to develop? These were the 4 areas that people said they wanted to develop at the beginning, in this order. First was growing team performance. Second, increasing accountability. Third, developing clear team communication. And finally, building those strong cross-functional relationships. When we asked this same question at the end of the program, we got the same 4 answers, just in a different order. That tells us that our content was well aligned to the things that our learners needed to develop. We also did some focus groups following our first cohort. We wanted to know what managers thought of the program and the behavior changes that they saw in their learners, and we wanted to know what participants valued. We heard that there was improved communication and decision making, that people were able to generate innovative ideas and get other team members more involved. Participants said that they enjoyed connecting with a diverse group within their monthly small group meetings. They wanted to be able to reflect and learn, and the tools that we provided them to do this through the reinforcement were really valuable. Throughout the program, we let people know that we were taking their feedback and improving. It was really important for us to be agile. One of the examples of this is during a virtual classroom kickoff. We heard from our participants that it was taking too long for them to read online. Before we sent out that template, we went back in and updated it, so we took out some of those books and replaced them with videos. That agility was really important to our participants, and they saw that as a focus on continuous improvement. They also loved the self-paced style, a testimony to the metric that we have of the increase in that comfort. So in the end, we've created a pull for this type of virtual program. We've created an expectation that there will be reinforcement through the program, an expectation that learning is an event and a journey, that it's about starting and continuing throughout the journey, getting everything you can out of it, and being able to learn anytime, anywhere. Thank you.